May we all rise for a moment of silent prayer. Roll call. Chief Clerk.
Senator Aritas, Senator Christian, Senator Figuer, Senator Coolant, Floor Leader Harper, Senator Kunman, Vice Speaker Moses, Senator Nath, Senator Palik, Senator Perman, Senator Romulo, Senator Usmal, Senator Welly, Speaker Simina.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 13 members are present.
We have a quorum to transact business this morning. Floor Leader Harper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. My greeting again to you this morning, to all honorable members, as well as our staff, and all those who are observing our session this morning. Again, I move to dispense with the reading of the journal.
It's been moved and seconded that we dispense with the reading of our journal. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. We will now dispense with the reading of our journal. But again, word of note to members, our journals are regularly produced, so keep going through them. If you have anything you want to change or correct, you can do so and pass them to Chief Clerk. Okay, next item, Chief Clerk.
Item 5, Mr. Speaker, Presidential Communications. We're in receipt of number 21-107.
Okay, assign that, Chief Clerk. It seems like the visit of the non-monarchy of who worked out well with President. I hope it does too with us when he visited, since he visited us also. Okay. Next item.
Item 6, FSM Supreme Court Communications, none, Mr. Speaker. Item 7, Member Communications, also none. Item 8, Departmental Communications. We have number 21-25.
Okay, assign that, Chief Clerk. And
Item 9, Agency or Governmental Authority Communications, none, Mr. Speaker.
continue.
Item 10, State Communications, none. Item 11, State Supreme Court Communications, also none. Item 12, Municipal or Town Communications, we have 2, and their numbers 21-02 and 21-03.
Okay, assign those, Chief Clerk. Next item.
Item 13, Foreign Government Communication, we're in receipt of 1, and it's number 21-18.
Okay, assign that, Chief Clerk. Order of the day. Standing Committee reports. First report.
Mr. Speaker, the first report is Standing Committee Report number 21-10 on Congressional Resolution number 21-26 from your Committee on JNGO for adoption.
Okay. Chairman Romulo.
Motion for adoption of that report.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress adopt Standing Committee Report number 21-10. What's the report?
Mr. Speaker, point of privilege.
State your point, Senator
I'd
Christian.
like to yield the floor to the chairman of the Pohnpei State delegation.
Okay, the floor has been yielded to you, Chairman Perman.
Thank you, Senator Christian. Good morning to you, Speaker, members, and all of our citizens that are observing this session this morning. Mr. Speaker, I guess the point of privilege would be recognizing a few of our FSM citizens that also observing our session this morning, and I would like to start with the Postmaster General Ginger Mida that is also observing our session this week. Can we give her a round of applause? Can I, excuse me? Thank you. And also accompany her two daughters, Laverne and Kimberly Mida. Laverne Frederick. Also, can we give them a round of applause? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Perman.
Mr. Speaker. Speaker, point of privilege.
Okay, Vice Chairman Palik.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to you and all members. Also joining Chairman Perman in welcoming all of you and to acknowledge those staff and citizens who are observing our session this morning. Mr. Speaker, I would also like to take this opportunity to introduce the Chief of Staff of Shy Governor. His name is Rolinson Net. May I ask that we give him a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Palik, for introducing our citizen.
Speaker.
He's always welcome to observe our session anytime. Yes, you have a point of privilege,
Yes.
Chairman Romulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning to you. Let me also associate myself with the previous speakers in welcoming our citizens who are in the gallery observing our session this morning. And I also wish and ask the indulgence of this Congress to also recognize a very important person in the gallery this morning, the chairman of the JCRB, who's observing our session this morning, and I ask that we give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Chairman Romulo, for your introduction of our chairman of the JCRB, and I think he's here in his capacity as Vice President of the Bank of Guam. I think that's why he's here. Okay.
Speaker.
Yes, as Chairman Ned.
Thank you, Speaker. If I may follow suit and ask us to recognize the presence of Solomon Simon, private attorney, and Sharon, I hope I pronounced this right, Parker.
Thank you, Chairman Ned, for introducing, I think he's the lawyer for a friend of mine. They're suing the, I think, Nuclear Airline for polluting our waters. Okay.
Speaker, while we're on that, let me just, if we can also
Proceed,
recognize Johnny Peter, FSM Ombudsman, and of course our friend that is always here, all the sessions here, Balsasar Petrus. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Berman, for doing that. Chairman Ursumal.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. If I may introduce someone in absentia.
You may.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's a very rare opportunity and honor for me to introduce in absentia the governor of the state of Yap, the Honorable Henry Flan, who I understand was in town for the past few days and just left this state yesterday. I had hoped that I would do the honor in his presence, but was not here, so I'm doing that in absentia. Can we go ahead and give him in absentia, a round of applause. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Ursumal, for
Mr. Speaker,
introducing our
short recess,
governor
please.
in absentia. Okay, short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're still on a discussion on the standing committee report. Make a motion for passage. That's already done. General Clerk. Short recess. Okay, Congress is back in session. There's that motion, which was seconded for adoption of standing committee report number 21-10. Chief Clerk, what's the standing committee report regarding?
It's regarding Congressional Resolution number 21-26, which is the confirmation of Mrs. Ginger Porter Mida to serve as the Postmaster General of the Federated States of Micronesia.
Oh, so no wonder why the Postmaster General is here. Okay. Discussion on the report? Any discussion? If none, if there's no objection, discussion is closed. Let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of Standing Committee Report 21-10, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Standing Committee Report 21-10 is adopted by Congress. Next report.
Mr. Speaker, we have Standing Committee Report number 21-11 on Presidential Communication number 20-431, which is the budget for fiscal year 2020 from your Committee on Gen-Go for adoption.
Okay, Chairman Romulo.
Motion for adoption on that report.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress adopt Standing Committee Report number 21-11. Discussion? Any discussion? If none, there's no objection. Discussion is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of Standing Committee Report 21-11, say yes. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Standing Committee Report number 21-11 is adopted by Congress. Next report, Chief Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, we have Standing Committee Report number 21-12 on the budget for fiscal year 2020 from your Committee on Health and Social Affairs for adoption.
Chairman Permit.
So move for its adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress adopt Standing Committee Report number 21-12. Discussion. Any discussion? If none, if there's no objection, debate is closed. Let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 21-12, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Standing Committee Report number 21-12 is adopted by Congress. Next report. Short recess, subject to call of the chair. We'll come back and Congress is back in session. We're still on the Standing Committee Report calendar. Chief Clerk.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, let me provide a brief explanation of what the delay was. Standing Committee Report number 21-13, which was dated yesterday, September 17, should be on yesterday's awaiting list, but it was not. And then today's awaiting list, we thought it would start with 21-13. However, it starts with 21-14. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just read out, since it's dated as of yesterday, I'm going to read out this report by Education Committee 21-13 for adoption for today. And then for more reports, we can refer to the awaiting list for today.
Okay, proceed, Chief Clerk.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, so the next report under the Standing Committee Report calendar, and pardon our oversight. We'll make the corrections on your copies of your orders right after session. It's Standing Committee Report number 21-13 on, again, the budget for fiscal year 2020. And this is from your Committee on Education for adoption.
Okay. Short recess, subject to call of the chair.
Short recess.
Congress is back in session. Chairman Ursumal, make your motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Chief Clerk. I shall move for the adoption of the report.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress adopt Standing Committee Report number 21-13. Floor Leader Harper, you have any motion to suspend?
Yeah, Speaker,
Rules?
I move to suspend any relevant rule that may impede our action on the motion or the report itself.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that any relevant rules that might impede our action on the motion be suspended. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The relevant rules are now suspended. So, discussion on the report. Any discussion? If none, there's no objection. Discussion is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 21-13 say yes. Opposed, no.
Yes.
Motion carried. Standing Committee Report number 21-13 is adopted by Congress. Next report.
Mr. Speaker, for more reports, we have an awaiting list number 21-08.
Okay,
Point of privilege,
there
Mr.
is an
Speaker.
awaiting list. Yes, state your point, floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to ask the intelligence of this Congress to recognize the presence of two very important people who are observing our session this morning, and they are Steve Baker, President and CEO of MRA, and Kazio Mida, Senior Headquarters Executive. So let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. I apologize for yesterday's missing our appointment. I got held up in a funeral thing in Awak. Ooh. Okay. Any other point of privilege?
Yes, Speaker. Well,
Yes, Chairman Berman.
yes, there's also another citizens of ours that just came into the chamber. His name is Marcin Imar. Can we give him a round of applause?
Yes, our citizens are always welcome to observe their Congress in action. Okay? So, short recess, subject to call of the chair. Okay. Congress is back in session. There is that awaiting list. And please read the reports. Okay, next item.
Mr. Speaker, item 15, special committee reports. There are none.
Next item.
Item 16, assignment of measures and communications. We have a referral sheet number 21-22.
Okay, Chairman and members, review that for your planning purposes. Next item.
Item 17, unfinished business. None, Mr. Speaker.
Next item is bill calendar. First bill.
Mr. Speaker, we have CP number 21-58 for second reading. This is a bill for an act to further amend Public Law number 20-92 as amended by Public Laws numbers 20-124, 20-161, and 20-171 by amending Section 4 thereof to change the use of funds previously appropriated therein to fund public projects and social programs for the people of Pohnpei State and for other purposes.
Chairman Figueroa. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading CP number 21-58. Discussion. Any discussion?
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, Senator Christian.
Mr. Speaker, as you know, I'm picking through the cracks to find whatever change was left for the at-large to utilize. So some of these changes that are being offered accommodate that. On line 15, I'd like to move that we insert the phrase equipment rental between the word drainage and the word and, so that it would read clearing, drainage, equipment rental on that line. I'll work with I'll give the chief clerk my notes.
Okay, there is a motion. Is it any second? Yeah, it's been moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments to CP 21-58 be adopted. Any rules to suspend?
Speaker, again move to suspend any rule that may impede our action on the said amendment raised by Honorable Christian.
Any second? It's been moved and seconded that all relevant rules, specifically the rules prohibiting substantive amendments on second and final reading, be suspended. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The relevant rules are now suspended. Discussion on the offered oral amendments. If none, there's no objection. Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session, so let's vote on the offered oral amendments. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The offered oral amendments to CP 21-58 are adopted. We now have CT1. Any further discussion on CT1? If none, there's no objection. Debate is closed. Let's vote by roll call of delegations. Chief Clerk.
State of Chuk, Chairman Artos. State of Pohnpei, Chairman Perman.
Amen.
State of Kushai, Chairman Wali. State of Yap, Chairman Ursmao. Mr. Speaker, all the 4 states voted in favor.
CB number 21-58, CT1 has passed Congress on second and final reading. Next bill.
Mr. Speaker, we have CB number 21-59 for second reading. CB number 21-59. It's a bill for an act to further amend Public Law number 20-125 as amended by Public Laws numbers 20-135, 20-146, 20-157, 20-179, 20-189, and 21-06 by amending Section 4 thereof to change the use of certain funds previously appropriated therein to fund public projects and social programs for the people of the state of Pohnpei and for other purposes.
Chairman Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Congress pass on second and final reading Congress Bill 21-59.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading CB number 21-59.
Speaker,
Discussion?
Speaker.
Yes, Chairman Permit.
Thank you, Speaker. I have an oral amendment on the said bill on page 3 of 6, line 4, where it says causeway development should be causeway, boulders, and corals. Delete the word development. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments by Chairman Berman to CB 21-59 be adopted. The relevant rules are still suspended up to this point. So discussion on the offered oral amendments? If none, there's no objection. Discussion is closed. Let's vote on the offered oral amendments. Those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Votes no. Motion carried. The offered oral amendments are adopted. We now have CT1.
Mr. Speaker,
Continue discussion on CT1. Yes,
floor leader.
Senator Christian.
Floor amendment. Oral amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, proceed.
Page 1, line 17, delete the word nanmant. Delete the word basketball and volleyball court and insert the following: Isoconity office building, fencing, driveway, and parking area.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Okay. Congress is back in session. There is an offered oral amendments to CP 59 CT1. Any second to it? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments by Senator Christian be adopted. Discussion. Any discussion on it? If none, there's no objection. Discussion is closed. Let's vote. Those in favor of the offered oral amendments say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The offered oral amendments by Senator Christian are adopted. We now have CT2. Any further discussion on CT2?
Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Vice Speaker Moses?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a written amendment to the said bill. It's quite lengthy, so I would like to ask that its reading be dispensed with. And I also am assuming that the rules are still suspended, so I would like to move for the said amendment.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. There is a motion which was seconded that the offered floor amendments to CP 21-59CT2 offered by Vice Speaker Moses be adopted. Because of its length, we will dispense with its reading, and the relevant rules, specifically the one prohibiting substantive amendments on second and final reading, are still suspended. So, discussion. Any discussion on the offered floor amendments? If none, there is no objection. Discussion is closed, so let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of the offered floor amendments to CB 21-59CD2, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The offered floor amendments are adopted. We have CT3. Okay. Any discussion on CD3, 21-59? If none, there is no objection. Discussion is closed. So let's vote
Speaker,
by roll call. By roll call of delegations.
short recess.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair.
That's C.
Congress is back in session. We're still discussing the CP 21-59 CD3. Chairman Woolley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also have a floor amendment to CP number 21-59 that I wish to offer.
Proceed.
Copies has been circulated, and it's because of its length, I will not ask Liwana to read, but rather move for its adoption.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the offer for amendments to CP number 21-59 CD3 offered by Chairman Woolley be adopted. Because of its length, we will dispense with its reading, and the relevant rules are still suspended up to this point. So discussion. Discussion on the offered floor amendments.
Question.
None. There's no objection. Discussion is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of the offered floor amendments to CP 21-59 CD3, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The offered floor amendments to CP 21-53 CD1 are adopted. We now have CD4. Okay. So any discussion on CD4? If none, there's no objection. Debate is closed on the bill. So let's vote by roll call of delegations. Chief Clerk.
State of Chuk, Chairman Aritos. State of Pohnpei, Chairman Perman.
Amen.
State of Kushai, Chairman Wali. State of Yap, Chairman Ursmal. Mr. Speaker, all the 4 states voted in favor.
For that reason, CB number 21-59 CT4 has passed Congress on second and final reading. Next bill.
Mr. Speaker, we have CP number 21-62 for second reading. CP number 21-62 is a bill for an act to further amend Public Law number 20-178 as amended by Public Laws numbers 21-01, 21-07, and 21-36 by amending Section 4 thereof to change the use of funds previously appropriated therein to fund public projects and social programs for the people of Pohnpei State and for other purposes.
Okay, Chairman Figueroa.
Thank you, Speaker. Move for the passage of the said bill on second and final reading.
Any second? It's
Second.
been moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading CP number 21-62.
Mr.
Short
Speaker.
recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're still on CP 21-62. Chairman Permit.
Motion to defer action on the said bill to Friday. Tomorrow's session. So move.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that CP 21-62 be deferred to tomorrow's session. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. CP 21-62 is deferred to tomorrow. Okay. Next bill.
Mr. Speaker, we have CB number 21-67 for second reading. CB number 21-67 is a bill for an act to further amend Public Law number 20-141 as amended by Public Laws numbers 20-145, 20-163, 20-164, 20-190, 21-05, and 21-33 by amending Sections 4 and 6 thereof to change the use and allotment of funds previously appropriated therein for the purpose of funding priority infrastructure projects and other projects and programs in the state of Pohnpei and for other purposes.
Chairman Figueroa. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading CP number 21-67. Discussion. Any discussion?
Speaker.
Chairman Malik, you have the floor.
Thank you. I have a floor amendment that I wish to offer to the said bill.
Okay, proceed.
Copies have been circulated. It was in the other day's papers. So I move for its adoption, sir.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the offer for amendments to CP 21-67 offered by Chairman Malik be adopted. Because of its length, we will dispense with its reading, and the relevant rules are still suspended. So discussion. Any discussion? If none, yes, Chairman Urusamo.
Yeah, Keniso Chapur, Mr. Speaker, I have an oral amendment that I wish to offer on the amendment as offered by the good chairman on XF.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Item 1 of the oral amendment, page 1, item 3, subsection 1A, delete in its entirety and insert the following in lieu thereof. YAP Delegation Office, retaining wall, 450,000. Item 2, page 1, item 3, in subsection 1B, delete 1,100,000 and insert in lieu thereof 1,200,000. Item 3, page 1, item 3, after subsection 1B, insert the following new items. Letter C, ASOR, ASOR, Island Water Distribution, 75,000. Item T, letter T, WORWO, WORWOO, comma, Rural Women Center, 70,000. Item E, Abdul, comma, Tamil Power and Water Extension, 75,000. F, Tungun Pinao, TUNGUN, BINAW, Causeway, Bridge and Seawall, 60,000. G, Tamil Cafeteria Building, 70,000. Item 4 of the oral amendment, page 3, item 4, after 2B, insert and 2A. The item 4 will make the president of the FSM the allotee of the money earmarked for the YAP delegation office retaining wall and the money earmarked for the FSM telecom.